The auditorium buzzed with anticipation as the lights dimmed, signaling the start of the highly anticipated political debate between Karoline Leavitt and Jasmine Crockett. The air was thick with tension, each candidate representing starkly different visions for their constituents. Karoline, known for her calm demeanor and articulate arguments, took to the podium first. She adjusted her glasses, her expression composed, yet resolute. "Good evening, everyone," she began, her voice steady and clear. "Tonight we gather not just to discuss policies, but to uphold the integrity of our political process. I believe that transparency and accountability are the cornerstones of effective leadership." With that, she reached into her folder and produced a document, holding it up for the audience to see. This document reveals substantial contributions from industries such as Big Pharma, tech, and defense to my opponent's campaign. I want to address the claims that Jasmine Crockett has not accepted PAC money. The truth is, she has, and it raises serious questions about her commitment to the reform she preaches. Gasps echoed through the crowd, and Jasmine's face tightened. She had built her platform on the promise of being a political outsider, a reformer who would dismantle the very systems that Karoline now accused her of embracing. Karoline continued, her tone unwavering. "If we are to trust our leaders to enact real change, we must first ensure they are not beholden to the interests they claim to oppose. Jasmine, how can you expect us to believe in your vision when your funding tells a different story?" Jasmine, quick on her feet, countered with a fiery retort, defending her record and accusing Karoline of misrepresenting her campaign. "I have always been transparent about my funding sources, and I stand by my commitment to the people, not to corporations. This is a diversion from the real issues at hand." Karoline, however, was not deterred. She pressed on, her voice rising slightly with conviction. "You can't call yourself a reformer when you're playing by the same rules you say you want to change." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Jasmine's composure faltered for a moment, her confidence wavering as the audience reacted with murmurs of agreement. Seizing the opportunity, Karoline shifted the focus to Jasmine's recent trip to Qatar, a journey that had been funded by a group with ties to Hamas. "Let's talk about your trip to Qatar, Jasmine. You accepted funding from an organization linked to a group that has been labeled as a terrorist organization. Why was there no transparency about this? How can we trust your judgment when you associate with those who undermine the very values we stand for?" Jasmine's expression hardened, but Karoline pressed on, her voice steady. "The people deserve to know where their representatives stand and whom they align with. Your silence on this issue speaks volumes about your willingness to prioritize political gain over ethical considerations." The tension in the room was palpable as Jasmine attempted to regain her footing. She argued that her trip was a diplomatic mission aimed at fostering international relations, but Karoline was relentless. "Diplomacy does not excuse a lack of accountability. If we are to engage with the world, we must do so with integrity. This is about more than just politics. It's about our moral compass." In a moment that would later be cited in news articles and social media, Karoline brought up a controversial tweet from Jasmine that mocked Governor Greg Abbott's disability. "Leadership requires empathy and understanding, Jasmine. Your tweet was not just a lapse in judgment, it was a reflection of a deeper issue. How can we trust someone who lacks the capacity to lead with compassion?" The audience erupted into applause, and Karoline took a breath, allowing the weight of her words to settle. She concluded her arguments, her voice resonating with a mix of passion and resolve. "True leadership requires acknowledging our mistakes rather than making excuses. It's time for us to demand better from those who seek to represent us. We must hold ourselves and our leaders accountable." As the debate drew to a close, the atmosphere shifted. Karoline's remarks had struck a chord, igniting a fire within the audience that resonated far beyond the auditorium. The media quickly picked up on the highlights of the debate, and Karoline's poised delivery became a rallying cry for those yearning for accountability in politics. Social media buzzed with clips of her powerful quotes, and the hashtag #TrustCaroline began to trend. In stark contrast, Jasmine's team scrambled to initiate damage control. They worked fervently to mitigate the backlash from Karoline's revelations, issuing statements to clarify her funding sources and the context of her trip to Qatar. Yet, the damage was done. Political strategists and rivals alike recognized the shift in public sentiment. Karoline's ability to articulate her points with clarity and conviction had resonated with voters, who were increasingly disillusioned with the status quo. As the days passed, Karoline's campaign saw a surge in support, with volunteers flocking to her side and donations pouring in. Her message of integrity and accountability found a receptive audience, and she became a symbol of hope for those who believed in the possibility of genuine reform. Meanwhile, Jasmine faced a growing wave of scrutiny, her credibility under siege as questions about her leadership and decision-making loomed large. The debate had not only highlighted the stark differences in their political philosophies, but had also illuminated a broader conversation about the nature of trust in politics. Karoline's challenge to Jasmine's integrity resonated deeply, sparking discussions about the moral responsibilities of elected officials. Voters began to reflect on what they truly wanted from their leaders, not just promises, but a commitment to ethical governance. In the aftermath of the debate, Karoline continued to build on her momentum, engaging with constituents and emphasizing the importance of transparency in all aspects of government. Her campaign rallies became vibrant gatherings of supporters eager to hear her vision for a more accountable political landscape. Each speech she delivered was infused with the lessons learned from that pivotal night, and she remained steadfast in her call for integrity. Jasmine, on the other hand, found herself at a crossroads. The backlash from the debate forced her to confront the implications of her actions and the perception of her leadership. She attempted to pivot her messaging, focusing on her policy proposals and distancing herself from the controversies that had emerged. However, the shadow of Karoline's arguments lingered, and the trust that Jasmine had once enjoyed began to erode. As the campaign progressed, the debate became a defining moment in both candidates' narratives. Karoline emerged as a beacon of hope for those seeking a fresh approach to politics, while Jasmine struggled to regain her footing amidst a growing tide of skepticism. The electorate, now more informed and engaged, demanded accountability and integrity from their leaders. In the end, the debate was not just a contest of words. It was a reflection of the evolving landscape of political discourse. Karoline Leavitt's calm yet assertive challenge to Jasmine Crockett's claims resonated far beyond the auditorium, igniting a movement that called for a new standard in political leadership. As the election approached, voters were left to grapple with the question of whom they could truly trust to represent their interests. The stakes were higher than ever, and the desire for change echoed through the hearts of the constituents, eager for leaders who would rise to the occasion with honesty and integrity.